Bell curves. I don't know why students are so obsessed with getting the professors to bell curve their exams. I get grades are important, but bell curves don't really help out as much as you would think. In this video, I'll be walking you through what a bell curve is, why professors bell curve exams, and what you should be really asking for instead of bell curving your exams. Hey guys, I'm Mike. I'm an OB professor at the Ted Rogers School of Management. In weekly videos, I leverage my student and professor experiences to share insights in terms of how you can better manage your student life. I generally don't talk about topics learned in the classroom, but learned the hard way throughout university life. So if you are a student or will be soon, hit subscribe and check out my weekly clips that should help you better manage your student life. Here we go. Okay, so what is a bell curve? A bell curve is the frequency distribution of grades along an axis. Okay, so let's take a look at this.
Look at this graph!
Along the bottom axis, you typically have the grade point average, and along the vertical axis, you'd have a frequency. In a desired scenario for a professor, you want to create an evaluation tool, an exam, that creates a bell or a more normal distribution of student grades. Ideally, you have a greater number of students centralized around a single point and fewer students further out from that center point. And this distribution generally resembles a bit of a bell, where you'd have fewer students. They might even have a few outliers out here who strove really high for a particular exam, and those who did few students who did quite poor. Okay? So this is what generally a bell distribution is, a bell curve. So why do professors bell curve exams? Well, there's only one reason why professors do so, and that's because we messed up. We either didn't teach students effectively, or we created an evaluation that didn't fairly assess students. In either case, we messed up, and oftentimes we try to cover it up by belling the grade distributions to what it should be if we did teach effectively or used a fair assessment tool. Because if we don't, that can actually put us into a difficult spot later on at the end of the term, as some institutions mandate that we have a specific grade point average or a specific distribution of grades. So what some professors do is, if you have a skewed distribution, you have a few students who do really well and the majority of them do mediocre, what they'll try to do is they try to establish a little bit more of a bell curve. So they'll shift the grades of those lower up, lower down to a little bit higher. They generally, to be honest, the idea is that they push a little bit of the higher students up, but that doesn't really happen. It's a bit of a myth. In any case, the goal is to try to make a little bit more of a normal curve in terms of the distribution. So when is bell curves helpful? Bell curving is only helpful in one situation, and that's when you're at the bottom 10th percentile of the class. So only if you're at the bottom of the bucket should you be asking professors to bell curve your grades. Because if you are, it'll actually boost your grade a little bit. So if you're at the bottom, okay, the bottom chunk, normalizing a grade might bump you up a little bit. Yes, absolutely. But if you're anywhere else than other at that bottom 10th percentile of grades, here over, you don't want to, because bell curving will actually make it more difficult for you to get a better final grade. Most professors strive for a particular grade point average for their class. So if a professor is disproportionately helping other students over you, it's going to be making it easier for the other students to reach that desired grade, and to be making it more difficult for you. So unless you're in the bottom of the bucket, unless you have the lowest 10th percentile grades in the class, then you shouldn't be asking for bell curves, and you should be asking for this: a grade shift. Grade shifts occur when professors add the same number of marks to all students' papers, and they do it evenly. So if a desired class average was, say, 68 and the class average was actually 64, all professors would be giving 4 percentage marks to all students. So if somebody had a 54, that would bump them up to a 58. If somebody had a 94, that would bump them up to a 98. So this solution would address the issue if professors had to achieve a desired grade point average. Done. Easy. Now this wouldn't address the issue if professors had to have a desired distribution of grades. However, it is a much fairer way to give grades to students in class. Okay, let's put it into perspective. Would you want students who didn't study as hard for a particular exam or a particular class to get more help from professors than you did? No, it's just not fair. And don't let professors fool you into thinking that bell curving will help everybody evenly, because it doesn't. grade shifting is the way to go, not bell curves. So that's it for my rant on bell curves. If you found this information helpful or want to hear other tips to make your student life more manageable, hit subscribe, smash the like, make sure the notification tab is on, and check out my videos next week. Bye-bye.